this full screen business. That's something I need to fix tonight. Alright, we're in game though. Time to stop bitching. Time to start casting. To the bottom right hand side is going to be our blue Protoss player from Splice. Give it up for stats. Obviously, both of these players are now qualified for the WardiTV weekly Season 1 finals. And we will be very happy to have them with us. But today, right now, this finals is basically a $50 best of 5 now. So they've both qualified, and now they play for $50 as the first place prize. To the bottom left-hand side of the map, our red Zerg player is going to be Dark. And this could be pretty awesome. Dark stats best of 5. In fact, you know, this is one of these series you sort of dream about sometimes. This should be really, really good. Looking forward to it as we get set and ready to go. So yeah, it looks as though for now, dare I say it, but it looks as though for now our dropped frames are stabilized, and it looks as though we're not dropped any for a while, so looks as though looks as though we're stabilizing. So obviously sorry for it was not kind of a very enjoyable experience at the end of the PvP. Hopefully we'll be okay towards the end of this now, and hopefully we are allowed to cast our finals in peace. As we set on up though, we're going to see a hatch gas pool here from Dark in the start of this ZVP. Game number 1 of the series, and we're just going to be seeing this probe, having a little bit of a scout early to see what's up and to see what's going on. Bottom right hand side of the map, I mean, not really much going on from stats just yet. We're going to see the Nexus is coming up to being about halfway done. And the Cyber Core coming up to being about halfway done as well. So, nothing really crazy here. Gate Nexus Core, very standard Protoss build order. I'm really ready to see what the tech choices are going to be in the next minute or two. Dark and starts best of 5 with GSL now. Yeah, boys. This is officially the GSL WardiTV cross event. Now, it is pretty sick that we get to see all these players playing in these events nowadays, though. I'm very glad that we can run events to get these players to take part in as well. It's fantastic. So, it's really, really, really awesome. And of course, thank you guys for tuning in, supporting, and all the rest of it as well. Special shout outs to the subs who definitely do make this all possible, and to anyone who donates, anyone who supports the stream at all. Even if you just watch the ads and the ad breaks, greatly appreciate. You're saving esports. You're making these games happen, quite literally. We're starting up here, and just going to be seeing the probe just pulling back over to the right hand side, and do see the adept moving across to the left hand side from stats as well. So a little bit of scouting here early on. Pneumatized carapace starting up, and link speed will finish shortly from Dark. Just going into the 3 bases here though in Newkirk Precinct. Nothing too crazy, nothing too ridiculous. And stats just going to be moving around a little bit if there's a depth to see what's up and see what's going on. A couple of gates added on here as well. So a couple of gates coming down, and again Resonant Glaze just starting up and getting ready to go. So Depth does shade on back and is going to come back home, and I mean, just glaives-based opening. We haven't seen many glaive-based openings today, so nice to see something a little bit different in game number 1 already in this PvZ. Nice to see something a little bit different to usual. So, going to be setting up into this. These adepts shading across through the center of the map. And we are just going to be seeing them, again, continuing over to the left-hand side. And just going to be seeing a few more roaches, a couple of Zerglings from Dark, continuing to come on in right now. Glaives is about 75% of the way done. And we're just going to be seeing this Overlord from Dark as just continue to move on in towards the main base. So Overlord continue moving towards the main. We see these adepts starting to shade over to the left-hand side. I'm just going to join up with these adepts that are already here in the center, which makes it about 7 or 8 in total. And that's the kind of a number of adepts you're expecting to see at this sort of point. A few Ravagers morphing in, actually. Interested to see how they fare against the adepts, because yeah, they'll do a bit more damage, but they'll also take a bit more damage a little bit more quickly. So that could be a little bit weird here as we just see the adepts continue to shade on up, and more lings on the way as well. I don't think they're really going to get too much done in the end. As we see the first few Zerglings start to go down, and some more lings popping up though means that you'll continue to be able to tank. And now the adepts will actually shade passing towards the main, but there's some more Zerglings. And well, even if Glaives finish, the lings will, I guess not clean up, but they'll do a good job, and adepts take some pretty heavy damage. I mean, maybe just stays in the main base now and just ends up getting some drone kills, I guess. 4 or 5 workers going down here. Ravagers will continue to clean up the last few of these adepts, so last few adepts getting taken down, and 6 workers killed. Actually, overall, not bad, considering he killed off a whole bunch of Zerglings as well. But Dog is obviously not really intended on kind of keeping a good drone count anyway, because look at this, he's continued to make units past what he needed to defend these Adepts, and so now he's starting to go across over to the right-hand side of the map. So moving on over to the right-hand side, the Zerglings all gathering up together. I'm going to see a couple of Adepts, some sentries, and a Stalker from Stats just sat towards the third base. He's got overcharges ready to go. Is it going to be enough, though? In fact, he's only got one initially. I'm going to see the Lings going towards the natural Ravagers ready as well. Where are the rest of the Ravagers and Roaches? A little bit far back. Not really here just yet, so he's not really ready to fight, and that might just slow him down a little bit too much and allow Stats to get into a little bit of a better position right now. Corrosive bars go down, and the Adept does fall, as we see the Zerglings taking down pretty swiftly. I mean, if Dog doesn't do damage with this, he's in trouble, because he's really far behind on workers. He's committed a lot of units to this, but he's not doing anything. He's killed 2 probes, and now those Zerglings are all cleaned up. I mean, he's still got these Ravagers over here, but I feel another overcharge towards the front will do more than enough, and there is that overcharge and a nice actual force field as well. Traps in a couple of Roaches and even picks up a Ravager in the meanwhile. And this is going to be just such a simple defense from Stats. I mean, not simple, but it's really, it is nice. It's a solid cleanup. He doesn't really lose a lot. And it's not simple, but he makes it look very easy because he barely loses anything at all. Great defense by Stats. And that is going to be Stats, again, putting himself in a bit of a better position from this point. I do see Doc is going to be going into a couple more Ravagers. I mean, back at home, Bane Nest on the way up as well. And an Evo Chamber will probably just go for the melee upgrades and in towards kind of Ling Bane Ravager as the playstyle here as the game continues. So, setting up into this, there's the +1 melee starting on up, and there's the Forge on the way down from Stats as well. So, the Forge sets on up here. A couple of gates will finish very soon as well. But look at Stats' army moving across the map. He realizes how aggressive Doc just was, and he's not going to give Doc the time he needs to drone up to a comfortable amount. He's going to start pressuring, forcing units, and if he can, force a fight, which might just win him the game at this point. Whoops, and a couple more Adepts, and I mean, there's only one Immortal as kind of a real tech-heavy unit in this, but there's so many Adepts, the Lings will melt. Not sure how much the Ravagers are going to do either, unless the Corrosive Bars connect, which generally doesn't tend to happen in these sort of scenarios when Stats is playing. He's generally pretty good. Force Fields having to come down to block the Banes, and honestly, he does block the Banes well enough. I mean, a couple Banes connect, but really only a couple, and Dark Supply just disappears. Newkirk Precinct seems to be going the way of Stats right now. You'll see those Adepts going to turn once again, going to go towards those Ravagers and continue to chase on down, and they're going to pop on top of them. And that's going to be goodbye to a couple more Zerglings. Goodbye to that Ravager. GG is called. Stats picks up game number 1 of this best of 5.